Welcome to Cruise News, your daily update on everything happening at sea. Visit cruisenews.io to see today's stories and sign up for email alerts. But for today's deep dive, we are jumping into a really wild stack of recent dispatches that I find absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, the contrast in today's sources is pretty extreme.
It really is. I mean, we are looking at the absolute far ends of the modern vacation spectrum today. We're going from a highly manufactured 5-week-long mass market Halloween party at sea to this incredibly raw luxury expedition where you literally smash through North Pole ice.
Right.
And then we're bringing it all back down to earth, or I guess back to the concrete, to look at the real world physical infrastructure that actually keeps this massive industry tethered to the shore.
Which is an angle a lot of people totally overlook when they book a trip.
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack this because the concept of a vacation has completely morphed. It's not just a simple escape anymore.
No, not at all. Whether you are, chasing manufactured ghosts or literal glaciers, the logistics happening behind the scenes are just staggering. It's an absolute feat of extreme engineering.
Totally. So let's start with the mass market side of things. Carnival Cruise Line just announced their 2026 frightfully fun Halloween rollout. And the sheer scale of it is it's hard to wrap your head around.
The operational volume is huge.
Right. They are doing 155 of these themed cruises across all 29 ships in their fleet.
Wow.
Every single one. And it runs from September 20th all the way through October 31st. They're even including their Australia-based ships, the Carnival Adventure, the Encounter, and the Splendor.
Pulling that off across different continents is no small task.
No, and the deployment patterns are totally different depending on the ship. Like you've got the Carnival Conquest handling a ton of the volume with 9 short 3- and 4-night Bahamas trips out of Miami.
Which is your standard high-turnover weekend getaway.
Exactly. But then you look at the Carnival Luminosa. The Luminosa only has 2 of these themed voyages, and the first one is a massive 19-night repositioning cruise.
Oh, wow. 19 nights.
Yeah. It starts in San Francisco, sails all the way up to Alaska, hitting Ketchikan, Icy Strait Point, and Hubbard Glacier, and then it crosses the Pacific to Japan. It stops in Otaru, Aomori, Shimizu, and Kobe.
So you're in a haunted house environment while looking at Alaskan glaciers, and then you pull into Tokyo.
Right. But wait, I have to push back on this timeline a bit. Isn't Halloween just one night?
Technically, yes.
It's October 31st. Starting this on September 20th is like a grocery store throwing up Christmas trees in October. How do they stretch a single night into a 5-week thing?
Well, what's fascinating here is the underlying business strategy. In the cruise industry, late September and October is what's known as the shoulder season.
Right, because kids are back in school.
Exactly. The summer peak is over, but the winter holidays haven't started yet. So by taking Halloween and turning it into this extended, immersive thematic environment, they are monetizing a traditionally slow period.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Carnival's brand ambassador, John Heald, has been heavily championing this. It drives off-peak bookings because it creates a sense of urgency. You're not just booking a cruise, you're booking a limited seasonal event.
But don't people get tired of it? 5 weeks of Halloween sounds exhausting.
They pace it really well. The programming includes spooky trivia, themed bingo, seasonal drinks, trick-or-treating, and something called Patch's Pumpkin Hunt.
Oh, speaking of Patch, I have to bring this up. I love this detail from the sources.
A mascot, right?
Yeah, Carnival has this 12-foot-tall mascot named Patch the Pumpkin Pirate. But according to the dispatch, Patch is not going to be on the Luminosa, the Legend, or the Freedom due to, and I quote, travel plans.
Which is just a hilarious PR spin.
It's so funny, just picturing a giant pumpkin pirate missing a connecting flight to Tokyo.
Right. But practically speaking, transporting a 12-foot prop across a Pacific repositioning route just fails the cost-benefit analysis. It takes up cargo space and needs to be secured during rough sea days.
Makes sense. But beyond the props, the passengers themselves are a huge logistical factor. People go so hard for Halloween.
They really do.
Like elaborate costumes, the whole 9 yards.
And that is a massive security variable. Carnival has incredibly strict costume rules for these sailings.
What kind of rules?
Well, they have to be family-friendly, obviously. But also, no real or imitation weapons. No masks or full face coverings, no real or implied nudity, and no obscene words.
No masks at all.
No masks. Think about the crowd control logistics. You are managing thousands of costumed people on a moving vessel. Security needs to be able to identify your face instantly on camera.
Wow, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Plus, if there's an emergency, you can't have people tripping over foam armor or wearing rubber masks that muffle their hearing during a muster drill.
So it's basically a rigid safety protocol disguised as a party rule. Exactly.
That's wild. It shows how controlled that whole artificial environment really is. But let's pivot, because while Carnival is building this completely controlled artificial setup, our next source is about leaning into the most uncontrollable, extreme environment on Earth.
Right. Ponant Explorations.
Yes. Ponant just opened their 2028 Arctic season bookings, running from May through October, and they're doing over 35 departures across 4 ships.
Which is a huge footprint in that region.
It is, but I want to zero in on their flagship, Le Commandant Charcot. They have 8 Geographic North Pole departures scheduled for this ship.
The North Pole?
Yes. Anyway, this is a 31,757 gross ton luxury ship that is built to intentionally smash through up to 2.5 meters of multi-year ice. Like, is this a vacation or a hardcore scientific expedition?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's really the ultimate manifestation of where ultra-luxury travel is going.
How so? People want extreme authenticity now. They want to go where no one else can go. But to do that safely, Ponant had to build an engineering marvel. Le Commandant Charcot was built in 2021, and it's a 150-meter PC-2 polar-class icebreaker.
Okay, PC2, what does that actually mean?
It means it's certified for year-round operation in moderate multi-year ice. PC-1 is basically heavy military icebreakers. PC-2 is the highest rating you will ever see for a passenger vessel.
And multi-year ice is just ice that didn't melt the year before.
Right. And because it survives the summer melt, the salt drains out of it. It becomes essentially fresh water, which makes it incredibly dense. It's basically as hard as concrete.
And this luxury ship just slams into it.
But it doesn't slam into it, actually. The bow is sloped. It uses its massive thrust to ride up onto the ice, and then the sheer 31,000-ton weight of the ship crushes it downward.
Oh, wow. That sounds so violent. And the ship only holds 245 passengers, right?
Exactly. So you have this surreal juxtaposition. Guests are flown in on included private flights from Paris to Longyearbyen.
Just to get on the ship.
Right. They're eating fine French cuisine in this gorgeous dining room, while right underneath them, the hull is just shrieking and crushing through 8 feet of solid ice. They even offer polar plunges and kayaking right in the pack ice.
That is insane. It's literally the polar opposite of a themed cruise in the Bahamas.
Literally.
And their itineraries are just wild because the seasons dictate everything, right? So from May through August, they are doing Greenland, Baffin Bay, the Northwest Passage, and visiting Inuit villages in the Thule region.
Right, and they spend time in Disco Bay, which is where the largest icebergs in the Northern Hemisphere are born.
But then in June and July, they shift to Svalbard. They do a 7-night Spitsbergen trip and a full circumnavigation of Spitsbergen, which they haven't been able to do since 2021.
Because of the ice conditions, yeah.
And they hit Iceland too, Grimsey, Jaime, Reykjavik.
But then the ice starts thickening again.
Exactly. So from August through October, they get pushed down into Canada and the U.S. Northeast. You know, Lanceau Meadows, Old Quebec, Grismore National Park, Saint-Pierre-Miquelon.
They even go down to Montreal, Eastport, and Martha's Vineyard.
It's an incredible operational dance. But here's where it gets really interesting. Because whether you are breaking ice in the Northwest Passage or hauling a giant pumpkin pirate to Tokyo, every single ship eventually has to hit a wall.
They have to come back to land.
Exactly. And that brings us to the physical infrastructure. Our last source is about Port Tampa Bay. They just upgraded cruise terminals 2 and 6 with these massive new enclosed passenger boarding bridges.
Right. 2 bridges at Terminal 2, which serves Carnival and Royal Caribbean, and 1 at Terminal 6 for Holland America and Margaritaville at sea.
They left out Terminal 3, apparently. But anyway, why are these bridges such a big deal?
Well, the port CEO, Paul Anderson, said it's all about comfort, efficiency, and flexibility. Port Tampa Bay handles 1.6 million passengers a year, plus cargo and shipbuilding.
That is a lot of foot traffic.
It is. You can't just use an old metal ramp anymore. These new bridges are climate controlled, but the tech inside is what matters. They have active stabilization, automatic adjustment for the tides, live monitoring, and load management systems.
Okay, wait, active stabilization. What does that mean for a gangway?
Well, a ship isn't a building. It's constantly moving in the water, heaving, pitching, rolling. If the bridge was rigid, the ship would crush it. So the bridge basically has a mechanical spine. It flexes and adjusts in real time to stay perfectly flush against the ship.
Wow. So when you book a cruise, do you ever think about the millions of dollars spent just so you can walk from the concrete to the lobby in air-conditioned comfort?
Most people definitely don't.
And this is the elephant in the room for Tampa Bay. I keep thinking about the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. The bridge has a 180-foot vertical clearance. This is like spending thousands of dollars upgrading your home theater system, but your front door is too small to actually carry the new TV inside. Modern megaships, like the 236-foot Oasis class, literally cannot fit under that bridge to reach these fancy new terminals.
This raises an important question about how these ports handle expansion, because they are physically trapped.
Totally trapped.
The sources mentioned that there was a proposal for a new megaship terminal west of the bridge at the Terracea Aquatic Preserve.
So, out in front of the bridge.
Exactly. But we should note, just reporting straight from the text here, that it faced massive local opposition and environmental concerns. And back in March, Governor Ron DeSantis signed legislation that prevents dredging in that area.
So they literally cannot build it.
Right. Without dredging, you can't bring a megaship in. The proposal is dead.
So Tampa Bay is stuck with the ships that can fit under the bridge.
Which is exactly why they are investing so heavily in these boarding bridges at Terminals 2 and 6. If you can't get bigger ships, you have to make the turnaround for the ships you do get as perfectly efficient as possible. They even signed a dedicated service agreement just to maintain the bridges and minimize downtime.
Wow. So what does this all mean? We started by looking at how Carnival stretches a single holiday into a 5-week logistical masterpiece.
Yep.
Then we looked at Ponant pushing luxury guests through literal walls of multi-year ice at the North Pole. And finally, we see ports like Tampa Bay spending millions on robotic bridges just to survive the physical and political constraints of the coastline. The cruise industry literally caters to every human desire, but it is all held together by some of the most intense logistics on the planet.
It really is. And it leaves you with a fascinating thought. As these ships keep getting bigger to hold all these themed experiences, and as they push further into extreme environments, are coastal ports going to become obsolete?
Wait, really?
Think about it. Might the cruise terminals of the future need to be built completely offshore? Just giant floating hubs detached from our coastal cities entirely.
Oh, wow. That is wild. Floating cities docking at floating ports. Well, that is definitely something to chew on. Thank you to everyone for joining us on this deep dive. Stay curious out there.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening to Cruise News. Visit cruisenews.io to catch up on the latest updates and sign up for free email alerts.